the difference between a master and a beginner and everybody in between. Because all of us are seeking perfection. We're striving toward perfection. We're moving toward perfection, and none of us are there yet. Perfection is an elusive goal. And we are all marching toward it. And therefore, the difference between a beginner and a master is what? Only a matter of degree and nothing more. What unites us? That we are all marching in the same direction. That we all have a higher ideal. That we're all refining our art or refining ourselves. Because now we're not just talking about musicians or artists, but we're talking about our lives and our beings.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the final session of Inside Out, the Catalysts of Change. We hope you have been doing well this past week, and we hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this difficult time. What is a catalyst? A catalyst is an entity that accelerates and precipitates the outcome of a certain event. In our case, our speakers are our catalyst, that is youth driven. 2020 has shown us many of its colors. The pandemic will have its lasting impact on our world, and we have to learn to adapt to it. These special speakers we have invited are already on that path. We have specially chosen young, driven, and successful individuals who will share their unique journey to leadership with us. Who is a good leader? How do we get there? What are the challenges that come with it? Sit tight, relax, and learn from these inspiring people. Before we get started, let us go over the ground rules for today's session. This session is a safe space for all of you joining today, so please feel free to interact and share with us your opinions and questions through the comment section. We have a dedicated segment towards the end of our session to tend to all your questions, so keep them coming. Try not to use your phone throughout the session unless it is necessary. It helps you to focus on the learnings for today. Whatever happens in this session stays in this session. Please try to stay until the end. We promise you won't regret it. So before we get started, we, as usual, have a small activity lined up for you. Which will help us warm up before diving deep into the aspects of leadership. We have the very lovely Icha Ban here with us today to guide us through yet another brain teaser exercise. Over to you, Icha.
Hi, Madhurita. Thank you so much.
Hello.
And thank you, everybody, for joining in. So today we have an interesting mentee, and it's a little different from what we've been doing. So we're just waiting for the mentee. www.mentee.com and type in the code. As soon as it comes up, I'll read out the code as well.
So the code is 2021767. Please log on to mentee.com and type the code 2021767.
All right. So for this mentee, take a moment to think about your first favorite album, right? You don't need to put just whatever comes to your mind. Just write down the first animal. So it is actually a little more introspective in nature.
It seems very interesting.
It kind of gives you a little... Yeah, it definitely is, because it gives you a little insight. Give me a second, I'll just... All right. You don't need to put too much thought into it. Oh, wow. Oh.
Very, very interesting answers.
And as you think of your favorite animal, also think of a couple of traits because that's the next one. Oh, I haven't actually heard of some of these animals. This is so lovely.
I've never heard of a capybara. I have no idea what that is.
Same. That's interesting. See, we get to learn from you all as well, and we're so excited.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now that you have thought of your first animal, are we okay to move to the next one? Right. You can write down 1 or 2 behavioral traits that you like about that specific animal. So, for example, my first animal would be a hummingbird. So I really like a hummingbird because they sing in the forest and they have a really sweet and melodious voice.
Absolutely.
So you can write down 1 or 2 traits that you like about that animal. And
my animal would be a panda. I think I just feel like they're just cuddly and someone you can just go and hug, and this feeling of warmth associated with it.
That's a lovely response, Madhurita. That's beautiful. And pandas are super adorable as well.
Yes, they are so adorable.
All right. So foodie, smile, loyal. These are brilliant. These are brilliant responses. Thank you so much, you guys. Brilliant.
Patience, attentive, calm, happy, go
Happy,
easy.
go easy personality. Oh, you know what? I should have actually made a note of them and tried to understand which one is for which animal. All right. So we have 2 more questions like this. So whenever, yeah, great. So the next mentee is up. It's the same code. So take a moment again. Think of your second favorite animal, right?
So the
And
code is 202167767.
once again, the code is 2021.
21767.
So these 3 animals are supposed to reveal something about yourself. So we'll talk about that in the end once all the 3 animals are out. And Madhurita keep telling me, oh, that's so cute. There's a little image of a horse.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that on Menti. That's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no clue. A tiger, a lion.
Oh,
A
funnily
horse.
enough, my second animal is also, oh no, that's not my second animal. Oops. I live, that's my third one. Let's see if my
A
second
penguin. Oh my god. Penguins are also very, very cute.
yeah, and they have a lot of, they're very loyal.
Yeah.
They're very loyal. This is interesting. Oh, someone put a picture of a koala. Wow.
Yeah, koala. And a dolphin as well.
Yeah. Dolphins are super intelligent.
Yeah, they're super smart.
They're very, very intelligent. That's brilliant. Okay, so this is really interesting because my second animal is actually quite common in general that hasn't shown up. So
I think my
great.
second answer would be a koala bear because they're super
Yeah,
adorable as well.
brilliant. So we can move on to the next one. Again, it's the same code, guys. And you have to do the same thing. So 1 or 2 behavioral traits that you like about this animal. Also, please keep these animals and traits in your mind so you can then relate to it. Confident. That I think we go with the lion.
Lion, yeah. Lion or the tiger as well.
Yeah. All right. So it's really interesting actually. These activities that we have that are sort of introspective in nature, they're a really fun way to kind of understand a little bit about yourself. And it's not as daunting.
Yeah, definitely.
A silent killer.
Silent killer.
Wow.
Oh. Probably a
Driving.
fox could be a silent killer.
Yeah, absolutely. Even a tiger.
Tiger, yeah.
They like really know how to kind of creep up onto their prey. This is amazing. These are brilliant. initially when I had done this activity, it was a little hard for me to understand, okay, what animals do I like? All right, brilliant. So if we're ready, we can go to the next one as well. Oh, responses are still coming in. Brilliant. So this is the second last slide for it. So think about your third favorite
animal. I can only think of like one or two favorite animals. This is great.
Okapi, what is that? Wow. I'm gonna after this session, I'm gonna have a look at what these animals are because I've never heard of them. These are amazing.
Absolutely. A
sloth.
sloth.
Oh, Madhurita, what's your third favorite animal?
Oh my god. I think, like 3 favorite animals would be panda, koala bear, and penguin. Not in that particular order. It could be either of these 3.
That's where it is. That's why this first,
Yeah.
second, and third favorite. Giraffe. Wow, I haven't actually seen that response in a very long time. I did this activity when I was in college.
Wow. A squirrel.
They're super cute.
Very cute.
They're very cute. Oh, someone's got panda for their third favorite. My third favorite is a lion. Oh,
somebody asked deer or reindeer.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah. A bear.
Oh, butterfly. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can, now that the responses are in, we can move to the last slide of the day. So 1 or 2 behavioral traits that you like about your third favorite
animal.
Yeah. So this is actually one of my favorite activities to do with a team member, with my team, or during a workshop or something. It's a nice, fun way to get the ice.
Absolutely.
Breaking.
Yeah.
All right. So the responses are coming in. I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
Yeah. Same.
Creative look.
Still enduring.
Is that for the giraffe? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Chill. Is that for that could be chill could be for the panda.
Yeah.
Ooh, game changer. Wow.
Calm.
Swift. Interesting.
Cunning.
Clean.
These are great answers. Thank you for responding, everyone.
Absolutely. All right. So now that the responses are in, or they're coming in, cunning.
Yeah.
Detective skills. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Sleeping, flying, being a constant. Oh, that's so important.
Absolutely. It's especially during, the difficulties that we're going through as globally. So that's a good trait to like about something.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Now I would like to take a moment to share with you what the responses mean. So basically, these 3 animals represent something within you. It's supposed to represent something within you. So the first one is supposed to be how you see yourself, right?
Yeah.
So the animal that you chose is the kind of like the traits that you kind of noticed in that are supposed to reflect how you see yourself. The second one is how you feel others see you. So that's a really interesting one.
Yeah, definitely.
And the third one is supposed to reflect who you are on the inside, right? What traits you have within you. And this works in a really interesting way because the idea is when you start thinking about something, when you pick out traits that you like about these animals, what you're doing is you're picking out traits that you relate to yourself. And the first one is sort of like you're kind of just getting into the flow of it. So it's a superficial kind of like the top layer sort of. You're uncovering the stuff that you show to people, or how sort of the things that stick out to you the most. Whereas by the time you come down to the third one, you figure out what you sort of speak to traits that really are within you. So if you're feeling like, okay, this makes sense to me, but you're not too sure, you have that resource within you, work on it, enhance it, and it will grow.
These are amazing. This is an absolutely amazing exercise, Icha. I think this will help us understand us, each other, and us much better. And whoever
Absolutely.
came up with this exercise is a genius.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to kind
Yeah,
of get the ball rolling, right?
definitely,
And Youth
definitely,
2.0 is all about unleashing your potential. So, unleash
definitely.
away.
Yes.
Thank you,
So
Madhurita,
thank
for
you
this.
so much, Icha, for joining us on our final session of Inside Out and for making the brain teaser session super fun and super interesting. Thank you. And we definitely needed it before starting our session. So thank you for being here with us today. And
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm so glad I got to be a part of it.
that's great. Great. So moving on, I would like to introduce the speaker for this week. Our speaker for this week is Shaili Gour. She completed her biotechnology major from SRM University in Chennai and then went on to do a joint master's in neuroscience from the University of Strasbourg and University of Freiburg in Germany, Switzerland, and France. She pursued and completed a research internship at Uppsala University in Switzerland and is currently a doctoral candidate at the University of Zurich, Switzerland. She is also an avid heartfulness practitioner and a heartfulness trainer since 2018. Shaili, thank you so much for being here with us today. Uh, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hey everyone. Hi. Thanks, Madhurita, for the wonderful introduction. I am actually humbled with all that you said. So, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this session. And I'm really genuinely grateful to be a part of it and to share whatever I have learned so far with the youth. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Whatever you guys are doing is amazing. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We are so glad to have you here with us today and to learn so many different things from you and what you have to share with our audience today.
Thank you. And I think I don't have to add something here because you've said most of it. Just maybe one thing that I would like to add here is that I do other stuff. So because with the introduction that you gave, it just sounded really nerdy. That's what the first impression that people will get on that. But I do other stuff as well. Like I'm into oil painting, I'm into hikes and stuff. And
Wow.
also into a little bit of vlogging. So I share my PhD journey with others, and yeah, that's quite about it. So it's not just that academic.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
No problem. And it's so nice to know that you do so many different things, like other than your professional career as well. And it's so interesting to get to know you a lot more.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So I would like to start off by asking, you've achieved so much at such a young age. So
Yeah.
can you tell us what made you switch your from an undergraduate degree in biotechnology with a major in medical biotechnology towards a clinical sciences postgraduate and specialty course in neurosciences?
Yeah. So it's so I mean, the thing is, I got this feeling of pursuing neurosciences through two major events in my life. So it was back in 2011 when I was studying in Chennai, when I was in the boarding school. That time I was in the 11th grade, and I had the opportunity to visit my spiritual guide. And as soon as I entered his room, we were just made to sit quietly at one side of the room, and there was somebody reading a book to him, and I had no clue which book was it, but there was just this one sentence that stayed with me from that day until now, and I'm sure it will stay with me forever until I have this physical form. So I'm sure the audience would like to know what this sentence.
Yes, definitely.
So it was neurons that fire together, wire together. And, when you're just in your 11th grade, things like this don't make much sense. But somehow, I don't know what happened. I just kept, like, writing this sentence in my diary, because I had my journal with me, and I just wrote this sentence again and again, because I wasn't even sure if what I heard was right. So I just wrote it in my diary. and
Yeah.
and at that time, we were not allowed to use internet. I mean, the access was very less because I was still in the boarding school. So I just wrote it in my diary, and that was it. And then obviously I wanted to pursue my career in life sciences, so I chose biotechnology, got in through SRM University. And during the first year of my college, as I started meditating quite often, almost it was like on a daily basis, and my practice was going really well. One day I had this thought of how it would be like to study brains of people who meditate. And this is not something that is new. People have been doing this for a very long time. But then I thought how it would be to study the brains of people who practice heartfulness. And I just had this feeling constantly, the thought coming, the thought came to me multiple times. And then I wrote to actually Chariji that time, that, my spiritual guide, that I have this feeling and it is just coming to me again and again. What should I do? And he told me, follow your heart. So these two trail of events, which happened in the year 2011 and 2012 and 13, they just made me feel that I should pursue neuroscience. And since he told me to follow my heart, practicing meditation and it was just very easy for me to listen to my heart. And then I just decided that now I cannot switch my field, because biotechnology gives you, a broad understanding of multiple subjects like biochemistry, cell biology, multiple of those. So
Yeah.
I thought I would just somehow integrate neuroscience in this, and maybe for the future I would pursue neuroscience, and that's how I went on. So I joined a lab very early, like after finishing my first year in biotechnology. I started working in a lab where we were working on the nervous system, immune system, and endocrine system. So I stayed there for the next 3 years. Yeah.
That's
I guess
absolutely amazing to hear. Just a small thing like following your heart could do so many different things in life. And you where you mentioned where you kept writing the same thing, where for about the neurons and everything, is I think it's absolutely really nice to know.
great.
And
Yeah.
yes, so thank you so much for sharing that.
Thanks.
Uh, so moving on to the next question.
Yeah.
What went through your mind as you pursued so many different internships? How have these internships contributed to your journey so far? And what would you like to tell our youth about the importance of internships?
Okay. So this is an interesting question. And since you ask me now, I look back and see, oh, all right, I have done quite a few of internships. So it's a bit amazing also, but at the same time, the first internship that I got through was something, it was not like a standard internship, because usually when we are asked to do internships, we join industries for 2 months, 1 month, 4 months, 6 months, or like for a year or something, right? That's how standard internships happen. But I was doing my internship in the same lab from the starting of my second year of undergraduates until the completion of my undergraduate degree. So I used to go to the lab in the morning, then go to my class. Sometimes in the lunchtime, go back to the lab, finish up stuff, and then after 4 o'clock, I used to go back to the lab and stay there until 7 or 8. So I had taken a special permission from my hostel in India, because we had a curfew time and they didn't allow us. Obviously thought that I was just doing something which is not required of me. So I had to take a special permission to stay in lab. So my standard internship, the first one, it taught me so much, because when you switch from school to
College, yeah.
transition, and also that I studied in Omega, it was a very protective environment. So
Definitely, yeah.
shifting from there to the new world, it almost feels like a new world. So the first internship taught me quite a bit, like, in terms of meeting new people, also meeting people who have different perspectives. and yeah, all those things. And but at the same time, there were so many challenges, like, adapting to different cultures. Also, since I was in South India, my mother tongue is Hindi. Also, understanding people who speak different languages and
Adapting to the environment as such.
adapting to the environment in general. And it was a great learning. Yeah. And also very challenging at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's quite about it. But at the end, maybe I would like to conclude it with something that I learned how to prioritize stuff. Because when you have a lot of stuff coming in, you really learn how to prioritize what to do when. So yeah, that's quite about it.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that, especially where, studying in as an Omegite, I can relate studying in a very protective environment and there's a major shift to an environment where you're not familiar with, you're not familiar with the people there, the language. There are so many different challenges that you face. And I'm so glad to know that, overcome so many different things and you've learned so much throughout this entire journey and you're here to tell us as well. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. How has it been leaving your home country and eventually working and studying in so many places in the past few years? How has it enriched you?
Okay. So I don't have a standard answer for this. It might
That's okay. That's absolutely
it
fine.
might be a bit weird for most of you to hear my answer for this, because I was kind of mentally prepared. So I always kept my goal in sight, to be really honest, because I would want to take you back to like I would want to take you back to time when I was almost 10-year-old. So I used to take part in a lot of competitions, and during one of the competition, I I was studying in a school which had a lot of where spoken English was not used that much.
Hmm.
So although we were taught English, but still it was as if we never used it within the classroom. So when I went for the competition, somebody spoke something to me in English, and I couldn't understand that at all. So when I came back home, I told my parents that I need to shift to a school where they speak English,
Definitely.
and I
Yeah.
wanted to improve on spoken English at the age of 10. So nowadays it would be fine, but then that time my parents thought I'm just like a weird kid, because why would somebody ask that, like, you want to just play. And so yeah, that's when they thought maybe they would want me to shift to a new school. So I think as a kid, I had this tendency to sense where my growth would happen or not. And that prepared me mentally. So why did I tell you this whole story is because the same thing helped me to move to a new country. Because obviously in India, I was at my comfort zone. But at the same time, I knew that if I had to grow as a person, if I had to get more exposure in the field, and establish myself as a neuroscientist in the future, I would have to move. And I always feel, and I think this might be a message to the youth, is that whenever you feel that you are comfortable, shift positions. Because if you are comfortable, then you will be comfortable there throughout, and the learning does not happen in that zone. So yeah.
For sure. Just you shouldn't get too comfortable in your own space because if you do you will not have there's no catalyst to go forward and change and actually do things, right?
Yes, and stuff gets boring then. So if you learned something, go for something more. Yeah, it's not that you're not satisfied, but it's just that you have the curiosity to explore more, to learn more, and that's it. That should move you forward. Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. Uh,
Mhm.
so, moving on to the next one. How do you balance academia, research, general life, and meditation on a daily basis? How can practicing meditation help you on your pathway to leadership?
Yeah, I really like this question, because this is something that forms the basis of what you do. So I think my meditation practice has helped me a lot. I never thought how impactful this would be, but obviously, like, as you start growing as a person, and as you start shifting fields, or as you grow in your career, you really need that support, and people are there around you. They would support you, your family, friends, and your spouse, whoever, they will support you. But then you need that inner support, and that only comes when you're connected with your own self. So you could be around people and people could be just supporting you, but at the same time, if you don't have that inner support, then you won't be doing right. So my meditation practice in general has helped me a lot, even when I shifted from my hometown to Chennai, and then from further on from Chennai to different places in Europe, and doing things by myself. I think something that really helped me was my meditation practice, because being regular in that gave me courage, made me fearless, gave me the courage to follow my heart. And at the same time, it has taught me to love life. And I think if you love life, then it just loves you back in the similar manner. So in all, it is all about self-discipline and following your heart. And if you, I think, just be sincere with your meditation practice, then things just turn out right. Yeah.
That's great. That's absolutely really, really nice to know. We see how meditation has, changed lives and
Yeah.
how it has helped us, so how it's helping people individually. Even when you don't have the support as such, probably not externally as much, but internally you have this, this particular set that's been created by so many different people for us to help ourselves and help each other. So I
Yeah.
think this is a great thing.
Maybe I can just add something. So,
Sure.
especially when I was here in Europe, I was just in a new country, and the thought of that didn't strike me at all until I landed. And then when I landed here, this whole meditation practice is not just about your own practice, but also about networking, as to how you meet people who are just far away, but when you need them, they are around you. So it really increases your faith in the humanity, because genuinely people are there to help you. And it's just a beautiful thing that through this whole organization you can meet people who are just worlds apart, but still they are there for you. So it's not just
Absolutely.
about relations. So yeah, that's beautiful.
I can definitely relate with that. I've been volunteering here for the past couple of months, and I've met so many people from different places around the world, and they've been super helpful, and they've been very, very kind and very understanding. This is absolutely great. And meditation also helps you balance so many different things you do in life, right?
Yeah.
Like your general life, your professional career, whatever it is.
Hmm. In fact, to be really honest, the ideas that you have for your scientific projects, they come when you are in a calm state.
Yeah,
And if you're always running behind stuff, then you would never have that intuition. And it's not just about getting the intuition, but rather than it's also about getting it, but then absorbing it and executing it. So I think if you are calm, if you are balanced, then you can execute stuff. Yeah.
absolutely. This is something we all should probably keep in mind, because being in a calm state will help us make so many different decisions, and they do so many different things, which I think is great. So thank you for sharing that. So moving on to the next question. How important are your mentors and professors to you? And what have you learned from each and every one of them?
Okay, I think so far this is my favorite question. um, since the age of I think 12 or something, my love for science grew, because I had a wonderful teacher who taught us science at school, in the primary school. And since then I've had great mentors, and the professors that I have at the moment are amazing. What I really love about them is that they have achieved a lot in their lives, and like daily, but then it's not just about what they have achieved in the past. They keep achieving now, and also they have plans for the future. So I see them striving, and I see the balance that they have in their personal and professional life, and how they, how they can just separate those. So they give equal amount of time for their personal well-being, and at the same time do they are literally excellent scientists. And it's not just about academic life, but something that I really admire about them is that they are very positive. I never see them complaining. They are grateful about whatever they have, for whatever they have, and at the same time they are really humble. And this is something that I feel that a scientist should have, this quality is that however high they reach, they should be humble at the end, towards the end. So yeah.
That's great. Having important like mentors and professors, it's not spoken about that much, but it's absolutely necessary because they have like prior experience in whatever it is that they're doing. So they're always here to help out and guide us in a particular way, which I think is so important for us, given given the world it's in terrible shape. So to have people like this to mentor and to guide us is so important. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's one.
Uh,
Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
go. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying that it's wonderful to surround yourself around people who value qualities like gratitude, compassion, and humility. I mean, it really matters, because sometimes we can be really focused towards our work and forget these things. Like, if you're running late to catch a bus, you might not want to help somebody who might need your help, because you would think that, okay, I will lose my bus. So
Yeah,
that's where the trade-off happens. So are you ready to trade it off for compassion or humility, or for the help that that person needs? So yeah.
that's a great example. Thank you so much for sharing that, because some traits like gratitude, compassion, empathy is something that we definitely need to develop. As youth, to help each other out, to help ourselves as well.
Yeah.
So move on to the next question. So we have observed you have so many laboratory-based skills, as well as being well versed in so many different computer softwares and languages. What advice would you give our viewers about skill development and how important it is to update your skill set?
Okay. Yeah. So I think, I mean, we are living in a very competitive world, and the first thing that I would like to tell the viewers is that never compare yourself with others. You might have heard it multiple times, but we end up doing that, especially when you're on Instagram. You see your friends traveling, and then you're like, oh, this person is traveling there, this person is traveling here. But then see for yourself what you want to do and what you want to achieve. So compare yourself always from the day before to what you are today. And I think building skill set is all about genuinely trying to learn something and having interest in it, and not learning something for the sake of certification. So if you think that you are learning something because it is forced upon you, then it's not the right task. So one thing would be to develop a particular skill set, maybe talking it career wise, is that see where you want to reach and see for yourself where you are, and then see what skill set you want to develop. I mean, which skill set will help you to reach towards your goal, and then list it out and then learn that skill set. And sometimes you will have to force yourself, but I think towards the end of it, if you want to reach towards your goal, then it would be a great learning. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's super competitive, and there's cutthroat competition in every single field. So to constantly update your skill set and to constantly, do things, probably think two steps ahead, do things in a better fashion is absolutely that's something that's needed now.
Yes, and it keeps your brain young. So
Yeah,
it's a positive
definitely.
side towards it. Like, I mean, probably my neuroscientific side is coming up now because there are benefits to it. So why not?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so moving on, since
Yeah.
you've already worked with many research teams, what in your experience makes a good team member and a good team leader?
Okay. Yeah, as I already mentioned before, that I value qualities like gratitude, compassion. So I think if a leader, first of all, maybe coming back to the a good team member, a good team member is somebody who's motivated and is passionate about his or her work, and is hardworking as well. And overall, I think there should be open communication because we, as sometimes I've observed this, that even within families it is hard to understand sometimes our parents, it is hard to sometimes understand our siblings, and we
Yeah.
are huge connected, but still we don't understand each other because we are very different as individuals in terms of how we think, what we want to pursue, and these things. So although the main thing that makes us up is same, but our aspirations are very different.
Yeah.
And for that, I feel the open communication really helps to establish good leadership. And to have a good relation between the employee and the employer. And at the same time, I feel positive criticism is really needed, because often when you get rejections on your applications, like, I mean, I've had several of these, so I applied to many places, got rejections from some, got acceptance from some. And this is something that I really learned, is that when you get these rejections, it's not just about saying that you are not qualified for this, but rather maybe a good team leader would tell you that what you're lacking and how you can overcome that. So we need this positive criticism in the field, and to enhance the other person, rather than to let them down by saying that they are not qualified. So, like, uplifting others, empowering others, that is something that we need. Yeah. And actually, there's so much to say on this, but
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I have observed something with my supervisor. That's what that I have learned from her, because they are great team leaders. They really listen to you. So a good team leader is somebody who listens to the grievances or whatever the other team member has to say, and at the same time respect them. Because if you respect a person, then they are comfortable with you, and then they can speak to you in a genuine manner, because you're not trying to control them, but you're trying to respect them for who they are. And that's when the real themselves, I mean, that's when they show up to you in the manner they are, so they don't have to pretend. And yeah, so I would just say that it's all about the inner connection that you would want to develop. Don't see them as boss, or they should not see you as slaves. So it should be
Yeah.
like respecting the person as they are and trying to just help them grow. That should be the attitude. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And even qualities like empathy and being compassionate come here, because you're being a good listener. You're actually listening to not just what they have to say, but what their needs are as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So moving on, as a youth of today in a leadership position, what does leadership mean to you going forward? What do you want to achieve in the world of academia and research?
Sorry, I think my video was frozen. Could you just repeat that question?
Yeah, sure. As a youth of today
Yeah.
in a leadership position, what does leadership mean to you going forward? What do you want to achieve in the world of academia and research?
Okay, so I like this one because it made me reflect quite a bit. I think, like, right leadership begins with self-discipline, because then first you want to be a leader for yourself, and everything that you want to see outside begins within. So I think one attribute that I would associate with leadership would be the self discipline, and I really value it and try to practice it. I know there are days when I don't practice it, to be really honest here. And what I want to achieve in the field of research and academia is that I want to integrate neuroscience, well being, and spirituality. Like, this is what is my aim, so that I can contribute a little bit to the society with the limited knowledge that I have in the field, and also integrate spirituality, because often we see the youth talking about stuff like science and spirituality are very different. But if we come to understand each of them and the crux of them, then we see that how there are so many overlaps between them,
Yeah.
and how we use both of them to enhance our well-being. And that's my goal to have, like, yeah, that's my long-term goal.
That's great. People do, yeah, as you mentioned, people tend to differentiate both the things, but as you have been a heartfulness practitioner, you sort of know how they overlap, and you're studying neuroscience as well. So how these how science and spirituality overlap, and how you can help other people as well, in spirituality with the knowledge that you have, which I think is absolutely great. Moving on, what were the challenges that you faced on your path to publishing your own research papers and adjusting to so many different research environments? What values are most important to you as a PhD candidate?
All right. So there were so many challenges. Let me give you examples. So as of now, I've published two co-authored papers. So one was from my undergraduate research work, which I did for like 3 years at SRM University while studying, and the other one was for my master's. So to be honest, the publication that we did for my master's was very smooth. There were not many challenges as it happens while publishing, but for the one that we had for my undergraduate research work, that had quite a bit of challenges. So we tried to publish it in the year 2016, and it finally got published in the year 2020. So it took 4 long years to publish.
Wow.
In the meantime, I finished my master's, I became a meditation trainer, and I got my PhD, completed 1 year of PhD, and that's when this got published. So this is what is that research requires a lot of patience, and this really teaches you that there'll be a lot of rejections, there'll be some acceptances, and how to tackle with each, and how to just keep moving forward. And yeah, the other challenges that I faced were not directly related to the publication, but obviously your research is something that you would publish in the future, right? So there were days when I had to compromise my sleep. There were days when I was working in the lab even on my birthday. So being in the lab for 12 hours straight. Also during exams, it was very hard because I had to maintain a specific GPA to be a part of the lab, and at the same time to work in the lab. So you would have to sort of cut down on the things that your friends are doing. So if they're partying and stuff, I'm not saying that it's bad or you should not do, but sometimes you just have to make a good trade-off. So you would have to decide that, okay, maybe I would party once in 4 months. That is how it was, at least before. Now it's more frequent because now I'm more comfortable in the field. But in the beginning, when I had to establish my niche, I had to give my 100% of concentration in that. And it's all about prioritization, because we have limited amount of time, and it just depends on how we channelize our time. Our thoughts for that limited amount of time. So, and there were other challenges, like sometimes the environment was not that safe. So I did once one internship in one of the laboratory where the environment was not safe at all. So I saw all that also. But then, this is what makes you grow as a person. So you see all these things happening. Also, sometimes, so there was one time when I got a internship, and I thought I would visit my family in that summer break, but I chose to go for the internship because it was a prestigious one, and for the 2 long years I didn't see my parents. So, and at that time I was pretty young. I was still in 19 or 20. So you have to make these trade-offs sometimes if you have to really move towards your goal and do something exceptional. For some people it comes easy, for some they have to compromise more. So it's all about what you want to trade it off for.
Sure, absolutely. Even though the choices that you need to make might be a bit hard, but I think you need to understand, like, you need to know, okay, this is something that I would want to do in the future. So it's a better trade-off as such for me to take forward.
Yeah, maybe I can just give a small example for everybody else to understand. So, there is this very famous experiment, marshmallow experiment. So they gave kids, I don't know if people have heard of it, probably people from the psychology background would know this. So there's this marshmallow experiment where you give 2 marshmallows to small kids and tell them that, they should sorry, they give one marshmallow. I'm wrong here. They give one marshmallow and then they leave the kid with the marshmallow plate for 1 minute and tell them that, if you wait for this 1 minute and don't eat the marshmallow, you'll get another marshmallow. So this is about, this shows that if you could wait for the reward or you could not. So let's say if the kid ate one marshmallow, then they would not get another one. But if they had the patience to wait for one, they would get two at the end. So it's about whether you would want 10 euros now, or you would be fine with getting 20 euros in 2 days time. So
Absolutely. That's a great example. Thank you for sharing that. It will probably help us understand more as to why trade-offs are important and what, and
sorry.
depending on the. No, go ahead.
No, it was just a study to study impulsivity, and they did like a longitudinal study on this. So it is an interesting thing, which just tells us about our daily behavior, and yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share to our viewers?
Well, yeah, not to say much, but it's just that you've got to believe in yourself. Because in the beginning, when you have big dreams, people think that, okay, this is not possible. But if you just believe in yourself and strive towards it, then things will happen to you the way you think for yourself. So set a high benchmark for yourself. Don't settle for things just because you have to. Don't compromise on things, and start taking decisions for yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to decide for you what is good for you, what is bad for you. There's nothing right, nothing wrong. It's all about you, how you think about stuff. And just treat yourself with love. You don't have to, I mean, it's all about what your priorities are. So you don't have to go and study abroad. It's not needed of you if you don't want to. So it's just that you should be happy in your own space, whatever you do. And just this, I think youth is the time that should be really utilized to channelize your thoughts and just use this time for the betterment of you as a person. And then I think you will just love life. You will not even think that a single second is boring. So yeah, and never give up on yourself. So keep loving yourself, and I think that makes you love everybody else also. So yeah, you're just pure consciousness and everybody else is also. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that was so important, and all of us in some way we needed it, because some of us probably would be too comfortable in our own space, and you probably think that, okay, if just because somebody else is doing something else, that could also be good for me, and that might not be necessarily true. So thank you, Shaili, for answering all our questions. We have a rapid fire round here for you. So these are just very simple questions. These are not questions that will make you think too much, but these are just very simple ones. Don't take more than 30 seconds to answer them. So,
all right, timer is on.
yeah, sure. Okay, so to start off with, if you could wake up tomorrow and fix one problem our world is facing, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Okay. I think self-doubt.
Oh, wow. That's a great one. As a neuroscientist, it would be something like, it would be a great project for you to take up on. Okay. The next one being, if you could attend one concert live, which artist would you choose?
If you could attend what?
If you could attend one concert live, which artist would you choose?
And could the artist be somebody who's already present in this life or not?
It could be anybody.
Okay. I think I would just go for Anushka Shankar. I love her work. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. If you could pick one superpower, which one would it be and why?
This is beautiful.
The rapid fire.
I know. Wow, this is crazy.
It could be any superpower, anything, literally anything.
Yeah. I would just I would just choose the superpower to stay happy. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I am, but there are moments when I'm also low. So I
yeah.
would choose a superpower to be happy. Yeah.
Okay. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do with that money?
I will donate it for neuroscience research, especially to study human brains with a focus on meditation. That's for sure.
That's great. Okay. What is the most influential movie that you've ever watched and why?
Awakenings, that's my favorite one because yeah, this didn't seem like okay. So Awakenings is my favorite one because it is about a scientist who discovers a specific disease, and he shows that the, the dopamine, so basically L-dopa could be given to people to treat that disease, and I could sort of relate to that, so there's a lot of overlap there. Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, what is your leadership role model?
Okay, Dr. Richard Davidson. He's a neuroscientist, and he was a closet meditator as well. But now he told the world that he meditates as well.
Wow, that's great. Okay, the last question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Wow. So this is a tough question. I want to do multiple things, but obviously I see myself as a neuroscientist and somebody who's integrating neuroscience, well-being, and meditation. Yeah.
And spirituality, yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you so much for answering. This was super fun. I mean, this whole thing was super fun. Thank you so much for answering.
you.
So we have a lot of questions that have come from the audience. So we would love for you to answer these questions. So the first one being, how would you advise people to become more flexible and adjusting to new situations?
Okay. So, well, I don't want to sound preachy here, but it's just that don't fear something, because this is also a recent reflection that I had. So I was taking a walk in the forest and I was actually lost. And I didn't have my phone with me, so I could not have contacted anybody, and it was getting really dark. And at that point of time, there was one thing that struck me. I was like, if something happens right now, do I have something to lose here? No, I actually don't. So if you start thinking that you have something to lose, then you would fear. And that is what that restricts you to not move forward in your life. So just don't think that you have something to lose, because if you compare yourself with this whole universe, you're actually nothing in terms of when you compare yourself in terms of size or whatever the potential. So, but then here also you have the whole potential, but at the same time comparing the size, like comparing the ego side of it, you are not nothing. So just don't have this thought that you have something to lose, and then you will just move forward, because then you will be eager to explore stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'll move on to the next question. What is one tip that you would give us to manage our time?
Oh, okay. So point number one, procrastination. So don't procrastinate.
It's
But
very easy to say don't procrastinate,
yeah,
right?
but I'll tell you how. So like write down stuff. Just write down stuff what you want to achieve, and then classify it depending on how will you achieve it. So will you be able to achieve it in a day? Will you be able to achieve it in a week's time? Will you be able to achieve it in a month's time or year, and like that? And then classify, and then make the whole visual board for yourself. Classify all this, and then see how can you act tomorrow. Live day by day. Don't go for what you would do for next 5 years, like although you would have a big dream, but how will you reach there? Break it into steps. So managing time, the first thing is that manage your mornings, and since I'm a morning person, I'm saying that, but first of all, figure out what your pattern is like. Are you somebody who's more productive towards the night, or you're more productive in the morning or towards the afternoon? So understand yourself. I think the moment you understand yourself, your working pattern, and the more you dive deep
Like
inside
people.
thoughts and your own emotions, then you realize how you should be acting. So experiment on yourself, and then I think you'll be able to manage time much better.
That's great. Okay, moving on to the next one. Do you face any interference in your plan?
No. Which plan, by the way?
This is very generic. This is plan. It could be short term, long term,
Well,
even
no.
day to day.
No, to be really honest, no. Everything feels very smooth. There are days when I struggle quite a bit, but I see the rewards. So in general, I would say no. Yeah, yeah.
Great. Okay, so moving on to the next one. What are your views on peer pressure, especially prevalent in the youth from a tender age? And how would you recommend maneuver your way through that?
Yeah. So this is a very important question, I would say so. And thanks for asking this because I also felt this one or the other time. But this, I would come back to this thing that I told you before. I think in the previous part of this interview is
Yeah.
that don't compare yourself with others. Don't even compare yourself with your sibling because you're different people. You have different likings, and it's almost like comparing a dog with a cat with a horse. They can't be good so a dog cannot be good as a cat, and a cat cannot be good as a dog. A dog is a dog, a cat is a cat.
Yeah.
So it's really important to value yourself and to establish your own niche. And so how do I actually like say this is that you need to be confident in your own skin, and that's when the magic happens, I would say. So see how your friends can help you in becoming what you want to become, but don't follow what the others do. So for that you need to be courageous enough to listen to your heart, and that only happens when you start meditating and journaling and doing stuff which you enjoy. So yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful. We have two more questions. How would you understand that what is important passion as profession or passion different and different profession?
Sorry, could you repeat that? I just lost you there.
No issues. So the question is, how would you understand what is important? What is important passion as profession or passion different and different profession?
Okay. So this is my personal answer. I might be, I mean, it might not be suitable for others, but for me, your passion should become your profession because then you're in a state of flow, as also defined in the field of psychology, where you don't feel the work pressure and the work is not like work, but you just enjoy stuff and want to do more. So
Hmm.
for me, it's the first part of it that your passion should become your profession. And that's what is like, understanding your own calling. So yeah.
Sure, sure. We'll have just two more questions. How to maintain constant motivation towards your goal? How do you maintain motivation? Is
Yeah.
what they're asking.
Okay. So point number one is that see what is in your, first of all, like know what you want to achieve. Because if you have your goal in sight, then only you can achieve something. So have your goal in sight. And in order to stay motivated, just feel the feeling, what it would be like to have that goal achieved. And at the same time, if you want to stay motivated, reward yourself at intervals where you have small milestone achievements. So the moment, so you sort of create a timeline for yourself from the beginning until where you want to reach, break it down into multiple milestones, and keep achieving one milestone after the other. And once you achieve one, gift yourself something. It could be just a simple piece of chocolate, or it could be a small gift, like, that I would go for a run if I complete this task. And that is something that, so gift yourself that you enjoy, and that would be something that you would constantly motivate you. Yeah.
Rewarding yourself after planning whatever it is that you're want to do, like your tasks. That's it.
Yes, I mean, and that is neuroscientifically proven because actually I'm in the field of reward research, and that is proven that it really helps. So yeah.
Okay. So moving on to the last question. Uh, how do you manage so many things together, like blogging, studying, and your life in general as such?
I just do things that I like, and they happen to be all of this. So I just do it out of interest. I mean, that's been there since I was a kid. So I just like engaging myself into multiple things. And genuinely, I love the concept of learning more. I have this curiosity to learn stuff more. So it just keeps me motivated and happy. So I just do that. Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Your journey has been extraordinary and remarkable. You've truly turned your challenges into opportunities, and our audience here tonight has gained so much from you. This chat has absolutely been unforgettable, and I personally have learned so much as well. So, thank you for sharing. So, moving on, let's move on to a quick relaxation session. So,
Yes.
just sit comfortably, close your eyes, and follow the audio that is that will be presented. Let this relaxation technique help you imbibe the values that we've learned today.
Sit comfortably and close your eyes very slowly and very gently. Let's begin with the toes. Wiggle your toes. Now, feel them relax. Feel healing energy from the earth move up into your feet and ankles. Then up to your knees, relaxing your lower legs. Now feel the healing energy move up your legs, relaxing them. Relax your thighs. Now, deeply relax your hips, stomach, and waist. Relax your back. From the top to the bottom, your entire back is relaxed. Relax your chest and shoulders. Feel your shoulders simply melting away. Relax your upper arms. Relax each muscle in your forearms. Relax your hands right up to your fingertips. Now relax your neck muscles. Move your awareness up to your face. Relax your jaw, mouth, nose, eyes, earlobes, facial muscles, forehead, all the way to the top of your head. Feel that your whole body is completely relaxed. Scan your system from top to toe, and if there's any part of your body that is still tense, painful, or unwell, spend some more time immersing it in the healing energy of the earth. When you are ready, move your attention to your heart. Rest there for a little while. Feel immersed in the love and light in your heart. Remain still and quiet, and slowly become absorbed in yourself. Remain absorbed for as long as you want, until you feel ready to come out.
That was an incredible relaxation session. I feel super relaxed and still on the inside. This brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you. We would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight, and we hope you learned a great deal about the various aspects of leadership in PhD research and academia. Thank you, Shaili, for sharing your life experiences with us and taking us on this journey with you. Thank you for your valuable time and insight. All of us have learned so much tonight. We would love to know how starting or practicing heartfulness meditation has helped you transform your life. We are sending out a form for humans of heartfulness. So if you have the time, please share your inspiring journey with us, and you may be featured on the Humans of Heartfulness Instagram page on the Youth Instagram page. This also brings us to the end of Inside Out, the Catalyst of Change. We hope you will all join us once again for our next series. Team Inside Out is extremely grateful to our lovely audience. We would like to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you learned a great deal from our young leaders, and we hope you enjoyed watching the sessions as much as we did preparing it for you. Thank you, and until we meet once again, stay safe and have a great weekend.